I will be tough on the Metropolitans when it's time to be tough on the Metropolitans. Do Cub fans need to look at their Cubbies and say, hey, boys, let's get off to a better start here?
Again, they've had to deal with their own sets of injuries here. Of course, losing Cade Horton for the year, another massive blow for a guy that had so much promise. And you love the potential when you're in camp and you're seeing the Edward Cabrera acquisition. Seiya Suzuki, the injury there has created some issues offensively early, but as we kind of look at where we are, and I know we had a lot of consternation yesterday when we gave out that no home run parlay. Unfortunately, it did not get home for us. I guess DraftKings took down the ability to round robin and even parlay a lot of those markets. Now, if you want to play one individually, love to our great friend and colleague Kevin Roth, meteorologist, does some work over there at Prop Finder too. The conditions at Wrigley Field, and that first pitch at 2:20 Eastern time, winds blowing in steadily, 10 miles an hour from center, temperatures in the 40s. Kevin says about as poor of home run hitting weather as you could draw up.
Wow.
So any deep balls will have to be crushed to leave the yard. So if you don't want to play a standalone, first one of the day might be able to get you some weekend money to get this Friday started.
What do you make of Shota Imanaga? Because I think you looked at him last year, and I think a lot of people thought ace. Yeah. And then people said, well, what is he? Is he a 2? Is he a 3? Is he a 1A? Where would you put Shota?
I think he's fine up there, and I think he's sneaky. And that I think, looking just at today's matchup, just want to go through some data here to give people an idea. If you look at this game to start, I would lean the Cubs. Nothing really convincing at the moment as far as the data goes. But conditions-wise, if you feel that this is a lower-scoring game and judging by the conditions, this might be ripe for a no-home run play.
Nice win for the D-backs yesterday in Citi Field, taking out my Metropolitans 7-1. And now they're going to go and stay right there, I-95, go to Philly, take on Jesus Luzardo. Almost big favorites here for the Phillies here against Micah Soroka. $1.86 in the Fighting Phils today.
Don't like it.
Yeah.
I would rather back the dog here, and I think you can probably, if you want to be a bit more conservative, you could take Arizona +1 on the alternate run line. Again, 2 bites at the apple here. I think they are alive to win this one. Listen, Torey Lovello's crew, if you want to go by some of their numbers that they've put up thus far, Dave, you look at their record, they're 7-6, just 2.5 back of the Diamondbacks, but it's been their rotation that has been very solid. 6th lowest rotation ERA in baseball to start the year. The relief corps, that was a problem for them last year. They're still trying to work a few things out. And offensively, remember, it's a top 5 offense last year. Yeah. They have yet to really get their big boys and Ketel Marte and Geraldo Perdomo going. Corbin Carroll out yesterday. We'll see if he's back in the lineup today. But this is an offense that I think at some point has to get going.
Fight and Fish. This is going to be an interesting series beginning in Motown City here against those Motor City Kitties. So it's Montero against Paddock today. Right now, if you want to back the Tigers, you got to lay almost $1.50 here. Are we willing to do that against a pretty spunky offense right now from the Marlins?
I would love to take the 1.5 actually with the Marlins. Now, $1.54, I still don't think that's a lot to swallow considering where we are here. But if you want to be bullish, then you take a shot on the money line. I'd rather have that 1.5 in pocket, though. At some point, I do think Detroit's offense is able to get going a little bit, and it's almost like they needed to get home. Like they were just uncomfortable playing in what was awful conditions there at Target Field. Trust me, no one running to the bat rack to want to try and hit in those conditions. So you look at the Tigers, 4-9. They're 4 games back of the Guardians. Marlins tied with the Braves atop the National League East. So I'd say run line plus 1.5. At least initially, without seeing lineups to the Marlins side.
I got a tweet from Cheap Prop Bets at Will Hill, not the Will Hill. Listen to this Should Have Been More pod. D. Ross admits to having FOMO on the Reds. Can I say I told you so? So I do not have any tickets in pockets on the Reds. Should I have FOMO on them? You've got what could be an ace in Chase Burns going out there today. You got to lay almost 2-1 against the Angels.
Don't want to lay that price, but it is Great American Small Park, as you like to call it. So slight lean to the over here, but I would go back to the Angels. I think that's the lean. Again, want to see some lineups here. Angels have been pretty pesky to start the season, and they right now 6-7, just a game and a half back of the Rangers, 5th in home runs. And guess what? You're going to Great American Ballpark, so lift and separate. I think you could see some Angels going for the fences. Been a nice start to the year for Zach Neto atop their lineup. Mike Trout, Nolan Shonowell, Jorge Soler, their top four. Big reason why they are near 500 here to begin 2026.
Going to go north of the border to get a hyphen, and Simeon Woods Richardson on the bump here for the Win Twins against Patrick Corbin. Now, it wasn't that long ago, whenever Patrick Corbin pitched, you kind of went oppo Patrick Corbin here. So right now you got to lay $1.43. I'm seeing the marketplace on the Blue Jays against the Win Twins. Twins have been a little bit feisty here to begin the year, too.
Ride the hot hands.
Ooh.
Minnesota is the play, and I'm probably going to go a little conservative here, just not knowing what lineups are, but I'll probably lock this in here in the commercial break. I'll take the Twins +1 on the alternate run line here. Again, looking at this offense, and it's a 4-game sweep of a team that ran it. You got both aces. You got Skubal and Valdez from the Tigers, so they acquitted themselves quite well.
Wow.
This is a Minnesota Twin offense, 7th in runs. I did not have that one.
The Twins?
No, I did not. Josh Bell does not respect our no home run money because he's been hitting home runs. He right now is your hottest hitter for the Twins, currently 14th in the power rankings for Fangraphs, 19th overall here the last week. So he's really been the one focal point. Royce Lewis has actually been swinging the bat well, but Taj Bradley, their best starter by far, is hitting triple digits.
Wow.
When it's frigid outside. So nice job by Derek Shelton and the Twins, a 4-game sweep before heading north of the border.
All of a sudden, the Yankees can't hit. Luis Gil's going to be on the bump here, going up against Steven Matz there of the Rays down there at the Trop. You got to lay almost $1.50 with the Yanks on the Road. What do we make of those bats? Will they travel and get warmer down there inside that dome?
Kind of lean here to Tampa. And again, another team that has really liked coming home, if you will, to the revamped Tropicana Field. Rays 5-7, just 3 back of those Yankees. And the Rays actually have been doing it in multiple different ways here for their offense. Actually really like their metrics thus far. 8th in stolen bases, 8th in OPS. 6th in team average. It's been the guys at the top here. Yandy Diaz and Jonathan Aranda have led the charge here. Junior Caminero is kind of right there, ready to explode a little bit. Back into the bullpen, this is always something Kevin Cash does well. He manages the pen about as well as anyone, and that has really been their Achilles heel thus far. Second to last in ERA to get this year started. They haven't really struck a lot of guys out. So if you're a Yankee fan, you need some elixir. Well, it might be trying to get to that Rays bullpen early to try and get a win.
You know, after the Mets won the other night, I put out there spreading the news, trying to dig at my Yankee fans, and then we didn't win since then. JT Glenn's going to be on the bump here for the A's. All of a sudden, the hot A's coming in here after that 0-4 start. Now they're 5-7. Clay Holmes is going to be on the bump for the Metropolitans. Do I want to lay $1.55, $1.56 here in the Mets against the A's?
Okay, so I don't have a good feel about this game just yet. However, I would say, looking at the conditions for offense, we're looking right around 53 degrees with winds blowing out at about 14 miles an hour.
Whoa.
Now, here's the caveat. Again, Kevin Roth, shout out, friend of the program. He said it's not the worst weather ever, but statistically, similar weather games have performed below average for home runs in this ballpark. So maybe some run suppression here, even though the conditions on paper, as you look at it, would be more advantageous to an over. So no real leans for me, but just an update on kind of what that weather report looks like.
8.5 is where that total is sitting right now. It is juiced slightly to the under at minus $1.12. So if you want to come back on the over right now, it's minus $1.08. If you're looking at that over, but I kind of with you, the way the Mets are struggling to score runs anyway.
Agreed, yeah.
Under 8.5 might be the way to go there.